the chapter with displaced people or whatever is over because they're not in alignment with where you are right now, but it's like it's holding on to it as
watch them grow, perceive, devote. This is the seed, light the show. Watch them grow.
Hello, Gemini. Welcome to your October 2019 general reading. I am Princess India. If you're new, welcome. If you're family, welcome back, my friend, for the 99 and the 2000. You know what I'm saying? Whatnot, or whatever. So we're going to start with you guys. Pick a card. So if you will, and for those of you who don't know, we do this for the extended. So you're going to pick number 1, 2, or 3. I pick a card. That card translates to a group. So in the event, after you watch this general read over here on YouTube, if you feel you need something a little bit more specific, you know what I'm saying? We're going to do that over on Vimeo. And while I'm shuffling these cards and laying them out, I'm going to let you guys know what it is I got for you intuitively. And it's loaded, man. What was it? Oh, man, did I forget of how I heard it? Say what you mean and mean what you say. But then I felt as if that was tinged with passive aggression. So whatever it is you guys are dealing with this month, how I see that as being more like, okay, if you're, I don't know, if it's a coworker, boss, friend, family member, someone you're dating, whatever, it's more or less like say what you mean and mean what you say, like communicating directly. You know what I mean? Like not necessarily getting straight to the point, but not trying to infer things, if that makes sense. So, and that's where I say it's like the sense of passive aggression that I feel is more or less you guys could want to communicate something to someone. You guys could want to say something to someone, but for whatever reason that you're not being direct with it, because it could be a myriad of different reasons why you're not being direct, but it's resorting to throwing hints or inferring things or, you know, you good? And it's like, oh, yeah, I'm fine. I'm great. I'm fine. I'm wonderful. You know, like being passive aggressive in so many words. So that's what's important to not do. So whatever it is that you guys are trying to communicate to people this month, say what you mean what you say. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, if you pick card number 1, we have renewal. If you pick card number 2, we have balance. Interesting. And if you pick card number 3, we have complacency. These are all very intriguing energies. Huh. Interesting. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into your cards, Gemini. Felt something there. Not quite sure what it is. There's a central theme with the 3 groups. I'm just not sure. I feel it. I just don't know what the word is for that. That's fascinating. But anywho, we're going to ask Spirit to give us clear and direct guidance for my Geminis for the month of October. Anything they need to know, anything of utmost importance, I ask you that come to the forefront in this here reading, Spirit. I'm getting messages from them cards, y'all. That's why it's like I'm so choppy in what I'm saying. It's fascinating. But anywho, moving right along. All right, so central energy for my Geminis for the month of October. We have the Knight of Chalices. This is challenged by the 5 of Cups. Interesting. That makes so much sense. Past influence, we have the Page of Chalices in the reverse. Your underlying influence, yikes, is Justice in reverse. That makes sense. Your above energy, whoa, is the Sun in reverse. What is going on, Gemini? Good Lord. And going forward, whoa, we have Temperance in the reverse. Okay, Gemini, what is going on in America? Okay. This is a lot. Okay. Okay. So, whatever it is that you guys are dealing with, I don't want to necessarily say that there's a war going on in your head, but if we go back to the intuitive message about like passive aggression, say what you mean what you say type of deal, I don't know if it's something that has happened, like one particular event, or if this is like a buildup of a myriad of different events. But whatever the case may be, you guys have not been speaking your truth about something, right? So more or less in your headspace, it's a dissociative energy in the sense that, and that's why I say it's like it's a war going on in your head, but not really, because it's not necessarily that you're fighting with yourself. And this is literally the recipe for passive aggression. It's like y'all are feeling some type of way about something. You're unfulfilled, you're unhappy about something, right? Something that didn't pan out, something that didn't work out, or something that you guys are waiting for someone else to do or waiting for someone else to say. And this can get so muddled because if we're looking at it from a perspective of if it's another person or group of people or what have you, it's the fact that simply another person or a group of people or a job, whatever, is not giving you what it is that you need. Your needs are not being met, but it's not speaking on the fact that your needs aren't getting met. And where I say this gets kind of muddled is because we don't know if the other person knows what your needs are because they're not being spoken. They're not knowing that you're not really happy to do anything about it. And I feel like why I was saying the whole thing about passive aggression, because how you guys may have been attempting to get your need met is by suggesting or hinting. And I feel that the other person isn't getting it. But the thing is that, and the theme with a lot of the readings this month is more or less like personal accountability. So it's kind of like, regardless of what it is that another person isn't doing, it's not about sitting and waiting for them to get the picture and be like, oh, let me give this to Gemini, or let me be this for Gemini. It's more or less having the courage to actually speak on what it is that you're desiring, knowing that you have the right to do that, to ask for what it is that you want, and to see if it's actually granted, in so many words. Because, man, this is 3 major arcana that are in the reverse. That is bananas. Because it's almost like the I don't want to say disappointment, but I mean anything under that umbrella, disappointment, frustration, what have you. It's almost like it's becoming a toxic stew within, because it's like you're pushing it down. So how it's manifesting in your day-to-day life is more or less of like half-hearted happiness, feeling burned out, keeping up, what do you call that? Keeping up appearances, or so to speak. So it's like trying to maintain this external view of things, or trying to hold it all together to where everything looks, fine or copacetic on the outside looking in. But behind that veneer, it's like a stew of toxic emotions and imbalance. And the thing that needs to be acknowledged is, it's more or less like Gemini is waiting for other people or something outside of themselves to validate what it is that they're feeling, like to validate this lack or to fill this void or to balance out what's imbalanced. And what I feel Spirit is trying to say with all of this is, in a personal accountability sense, this is all within your power. Because it really feels to me like it's something that didn't pan out, or it's something that y'all have been waiting to get. And that could be a myriad of different things. It could be a job. It could be like a callback on a job. It could be somebody wanting to commit to you, whatever. It's whatever it is that you guys are waiting for, an offer that you guys are waiting for, or a message, sign, synchronicity, whatever he was waiting for, it has yet to pan out. And instead of taking tangible external actions to get your needs fulfilled, it's like you guys are almost in denial of how, I don't know, dude, because it's like I see this, but I don't know how to put it into words. It's almost like, okay, because I want to say emotionally starved, but that's too, like, interpersonal. It's like how I'm seeing this. I'm trying to think of a tangible way that I could, like, something I could relate this to. If you think about, okay, and this is hypothetical, not literal, but it's like if two people were like married, right? And it's like the two people who are married fell out of love with each other, so they feel absolutely nothing for each other. They sleep in 2 different rooms, but they're just staying together. So it's like you're living in the same house and just kind of going through the motions. But it's like any interconnection that happens in a partnership, all of that is gone. So it's like you know, you think of the cozy comfort of a home, and this has become just a house. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's no longer a home type of deal. But I'm saying that illustratively, that's the energy that I'm feeling that Geminis are in. But the whole reason why is because there's a need for Gemini to take their power back, because it's putting too much weight or energy and effort on someone. And I don't want to say necessary to rescue you out of your situation, but it's having this misconception that someone outside of you has more power to change your circumstance than you. And the whole reason why this is coming out is because Spirit is putting, you know, the magic wand back in your hand and saying that you have the right to change this. So the thing is that there's a level of equilibrium within that's manifesting without. So all of the imbalances that you're seeing in your external world, it's all starting within. And there's a need to bring into your awareness, recognize, and accept that this situation isn't fulfilling. You know what I mean? It's not fulfilling all of your needs, and it's not really worth the time, energy, and effort that you're putting into it. But I feel that it's almost like you guys don't want to necessarily accept that right now. And that's okay, because it's totally normal. We get like that. Because, I mean, it could be, you know, it could be a friendship. I mean, it could be, I don't know, you've been best friends with someone your whole life, and now it's very clear to you that you and this person just can't be friends anymore because you have matured so far away from each other, or grown or evolved so far away from each other, that the only thing that's still keeping the two of you linked is the fact that you've known each other for so many years. But I feel, and this is probably a better example of the energy that I'm seeing here, it's that it's not wanting to accept that I can't be friends with this person anymore, because that's sad within itself. So it's the thought of just pretending this isn't happening. It's like the fact that they get on my nerves, or they irritate me, or they're doing X, Y, Z. It's like I'm just going to suppress that and push that down and hold on to this for the sake of the history, in so many words. But I'm saying all of that to say why that isn't healthy. I mean, we all do that sometimes, but why it's not healthy is because the emotions that are being repressed are turning toxic, and it's starting to spill out in other facets of your life. And that's the reason why there's so much of an imbalance, or, you know, confusion, or overindulgence, or feelings of burnout, or, you know, feeling unfulfilled, and so on and so forth, right? So that's really what I'm seeing for you guys. That's hella, what are we at, 12 minutes? That's to the point. I don't know if Spirit answered my prayers of like my readings not being super duper redonkulously long, but that's what I'm seeing, man. It's a need for there's a need for a shift, there's a need for a change, there's a need for personal accountability and self-acknowledgement. It's really like I don't want to necessarily, well, yeah, I do want to say that. It's like having a come into Jesus moment with yourself and needing to be real. Because I feel at this point in the game, it's pretty clear that whatever it is that you were hoping this was, or hope that it would turn into, or think, or were hoping things would shift, that's not going to happen. So until you guys make the decision that you need to make those changes, stuff is just going to stay this way. And it could potentially turn into like an explosion, and we don't want that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's kind of like, you know, when you repress your anger, you guys can ask a yes or no question if you like. When you repress your anger or feelings about stuff, and you keep pushing it down like a pressure cooker, it's like that energy has to go somewhere. And when we end up doing it like that, we end up having blowouts that could have been, you know, avoided. You know what I'm saying? So go ahead and ask your yes or no question, gems. It's a lot of stagnant energy too, man. All right, we have Cancer, we have Bay Lover Partner, we have Scorpio, we have question mark, which means it's Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, whatever. And the answer to your question is yes, in a few months. So Cancer, Bay Lover Partner, Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, whatever, and yes, in a few months. Now we are going to throw the dice that have no name. This might be the shortest reading I've ever done, and I think it's just because I'm a Gemini rising, you know? For the first time, I don't feel like all up here. It's usually how I feel when I do Gemini readings. So this energy is very, very grounded, though. I feel this is heavily, another thing I would say with this is, like the challenge for Geminis in the month of October, It's not necessarily to stand in your truth per se. That's a part of it. But I think it's like now it's time for whatever state that you're in inside of yourself. It's time for your life to start looking like, your mindset, or to reflect how you feel on the inside. Because I feel, I don't know, man. It's one of those things where it's kind of like an energy, and this may be very friendship related. Like it feels like an energy of like, I don't know, like getting a record deal or, a football contract or something like that. And you have all of your friends from the old neighborhood that are kind of riding your coattails. That's like what the energy feels like. And the dissension lies in the fact that the chapter with displaced people or whatever is over because they're not in alignment with where you are right now. But it's like it's holding on to it as a security blanket. And I feel that this energy has to be cleared out so that what's really for you can come in. Because I feel like all of these things are security blankets, but they're just placeholders. And that's blocking what's supposed to be coming in, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. All right, we have Jamoon, we have the number 3, and we have Leo. Interesting. Let's see. For the moon, where is it at? It says mother, feminine principle, law of polarity. How is your past being recreated in the present? How do you feel about yourself? How do you feel about your relationships? Yeah, man, that's some real stuff right there. And then I think we have a full moon this weekend, if I'm not mistaken. You guys may want to use that as a good manifestation time. But yeah, man, how is your past being recreated in the present? It's like I do feel it's a lot of old energy that you guys are bringing into a new cycle, and that's kind of what's stagnating you out because it's like a fear of letting that go. But like I say, I don't judge you, man, because I mean it's understandable. Walking into the unknown, your arcana for the month is the Empress, and it says your spirituality gives you strength, expansion, the creator, perseverance, and change agent. Creative inspiration, nurture your dream, transform and allow, and birth it into life. That's what I'm feeling, man. It's almost like y'all are giving birth to a baby, and you're holding the baby in, And I feel, this is weird. I don't usually do this, but we'll see if I can actually find information on this. But I feel like I need to read, and I'm going to do this in the extended, what the energy is like when the moon is in Leo. Because I feel like that's relevant. And I usually don't do that. But I'm going to look into that and see. Because I feel like there's something there. But anywho, that has been your reading, Gemini. I'm going to go over to Vimeo to finish out this spread and get into you guys' groups. So if you're about that life, you can follow me over there. If not, I still love your freaking face. And I will see you guys sooner than later. Deuces. Deuces. I don't know what this is. What am I doing? What am I doing? I'm not happy with the way that my life is, but feeling as if you can't do anything about it. The reason why I'm kind of concerned about that is because these are not necessarily cards that you want to have in the reverse. Group 1, we have like a lack mentality from childhood and never really having enough of something. So everything that it is that you get, it's like holding on to it for dear life because it's the thought of, if I lose this, I may never get this again. My group 2 people, well, it's something that's being ignored because it's not logical. There's 2 groups within group 2. This is what Spirit is just telling me. There's one group of you who relies too heavily on your intuition for things, that you're so heavenly minded that you're no earthly good. And then there's another group where you guys are too focused on 3D and you completely, I don't even know how you would even be watching this right now. Maybe you have like a friend that was just like, hey, I'm gonna buy this extended and send it to you. Listen to the lady. For my group 3 people, I feel for you guys, and I feel with you guys it may have something to do with loss as well, whether it's like a breakup or it could even be someone passed away or just disappointment in life in general. It would be hard to even fathom that life could be any different than it is.